Hello, I'm Hilda. I just want to ask a question. Have you ever found yourself in a state where things are just happening, but you fail to understand why are these things happening? You even do not have an answer or a solution to that which is happening. I just want to tell someone this evening that things do not just happen, they are caused to happen. Look at an example in the Bible, like for an example like Hezekiah. God tells him, "Put your house in order. Put your house in order, for you shall die and never recover." So we find that after Hezekiah being told that he shall die, we find that he went and wept bitterly unto God, and he said, and he told God, remember how I walked with you in faithfulness, done what is good. So we find that after that prayer that Hezekiah made, God, so we find that God spoke to prophet Hezekiah. He told prophet Isaiah, go and tell Hezekiah that I have heard his prayers and seen his tears, and behold, I will heal you. He goes on and tells him that I will 15 years and will deliver you in Jerusalem out of the hands of the Assyrians. He also goes ahead and say that I will defend this city. I will defend this city for my own sake and for my servant David's sake. So you find that because of the prayer that Hezekiah made, these were the results that were given, that these were the outcome that came as a result of the prayer that he made. So for us as Christians, what should we do? When things tend to be hard, we should not run away from those hard situations, but we should pray unto God for all the things that seem to be impossible. We have a God in heaven who makes things possible. So I would like to encourage someone, even if there are things that seem not to be working at this moment, just trust in God, the one who restores, the one who sets free, the one who makes a way where there seems to be no way. Just go back to him, remind him of his faithfulness, remind him of who he is, and he will see you through. Another character is Hannah. Let's look at the story of Hannah together with his co-wife Peninnah. So we find that Peninnah used to laugh at Hannah because Hannah didn't have a child. So each and every time Peninnah used to mock Hannah because of her situation. But so we find that even though Hannah was going through pain, was going through shame, he never gave up. But he always went back to God. He always sought after the presence of God. We find that there was a time when he had gone back to the temple to pray. So Eli thought that Anna was drunk, but in real sense, Anna wasn't drunk. She was praying. She was pouring out his heart unto God because of the situation that she was in. She was praying that God may bless her with a son. And we see that he makes a vow that if God blesses her with a son, he will give that son back to him. So after she had made that prayer, Eli spoke a word of blessing unto her life, and she went back home. The moment she went back home, his husband Elkanah he knew her again, and she became pregnant. So he bore a son and called him Samuel, which means the Lord has heard my prayers. Sindio? So as Christians, what do we learn from the story of Hannah? We learn that in everything that we go through, without prayer there is nothing that can be done. So as Christians, let us seek before him, let us seek after his presence, let us seek after the Lord until we find the solution of the problem that we are undergoing through, until God speaks. Let us not go out of his presence before he speaks unto us, before he gives us a solution, before he makes a way for us. Let us be patient when we are praying until we find the answer unto which we are praying for. So another character is Peter, when he was imprisoned by Herod. So we find that Peter and James, they were ministering, they were speaking about Jesus to the people, but Herod never liked it. So we find that James was killed and we remain Peter. So we find that Peter was imprisoned because of preaching the gospel. So we find that at the time Peter was being imprisoned, the church prayed persistently unto God that God may see him through, that God may make a way for him. So we find that at night, as Peter was asleep, because at that time he was being chained, as he was asleep and he was in between the soldiers, the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a sleep. And for Peter, he thought that he was having a vision, but in reality, it wasn't a vision. That was the angel of God had appeared to him. He had come to rescue him. So find that night, the moment the angel of God appeared to him, he awoke him, saying, "Get up quickly." And the moment he told him that, we find that the chains that he was being chained on, they fell off his hands. The chains fell off his hands, and at that time, Peter was free from those chains. So at that time, the angel of the Lord led Peter out of that prison, and he made him escape from that cell that he was being kept in. But we find that the soldiers didn't even hear when he was going out, he was escaping from that place. So as Christians, what do we learn from here? That there is always a way out when we seek him, even in that state that you are in, be it the state of sicknesses, be it the state that you are giving up. God will always send a helper, someone who will always come and rescue you from that which you are going through. This evening, I just want to encourage someone that do not let go of God. Do not turn yourself from his presence. Do not turn yourself out of his presence. Just continue being in his presence. Continue seeking him, because in his presence is where you'll find your breakthrough. In his presence is where you'll find your victory. In his presence is where you will find your healing or your redemption. This evening, I just want to say, Shalom. Be blessed.